Hi guys, it's Meryl here from Subcinctus Consulting, and today I wanted to chat to you about the energy hierarchy and its purpose in helping your business achieve their energy goals. So whether you've set a target for net zero emissions by a certain year, or whether you're wanting to achieve carbon neutrality or just energy security in your business operations, either way, the energy hierarchy plays a really important role in helping your business achieve that. And so I'm here today just to help you understand the steps that you need to take to follow that hierarchy. For example, renewables is definitely not close to the start of that hierarchy. It's more towards the end. And so if you were to go and implement renewables closer to the beginning of your journey in achieving those goals, you're possibly going to be spending more money because you're putting a higher amount of renewables capacity into your operations, and so there's a lower payback and therefore lower cost economy in that solution. And so it's much better to actually follow the hierarchy. Some steps might actually not be applicable to your operations, but have you considered that to see where you might be able to reduce your costs and take a more stepwise approach towards your energy goals? And so let's begin. There's about 6 steps. So the first step would be to look at your energy contracts. Now this may be often overlooked, but it's something that you should look at and review regularly. So the contracts that are relevant in terms of energy would be the ones between yourself and your retailer or energy supplier. But also you may have contracts in place between yourself and your client or your contractors that work for you. If energy is a particular component of that contract or that engagement, it's really important to make sure that it is working in your favor and in theirs, of course. But that's something that is important to consider. So I guess more specifically on the retailer contracts, this is your electricity bills essentially. It's really important to know what those bills are made up of, because they're obviously made up of several components. So there's the wholesale charges as well as the network charges. You've got your metering and your billing and your environmental costs, and renewable certificate generations. So all of those things make up your bill, and it is really important to know what is variable and what is fixed, and where there's an opportunity to change those contracts so that you're not paying as much of a premium on, say, certain network charges or your demand charges, because you're actually using less demand than you were the year before. So energy contracts are a really important thing, and as I said, reviewing them yearly is a really great way to make some quick savings on your current energy bills. And so the next step would be to reduce your energy consumption. So that is actually very much to do with a social component. So it's the way that your employees and your consumers interact with your operations. So if it is a commercial building, a hotel, for example, it's the way that you encourage your clients to utilize your facilities, as well as the way that your employees themselves utilize your facilities. Obviously, different limitations on different groups, depending on your relationship with them. So this one is definitely about the hard energy reductions through timers on lighting or timers on certain electronic systems, but there's also very much a social component to it. So yeah, reducing your energy, really great way to start with the physical implementation of that energy hierarchy. So step 3 and step 4, they do actually go hand in hand. So step 3 is about energy efficiency and step 4 is about energy integration. So especially from a process perspective, if you're an industrial operation or you're a facility that has large process or supply chains, energy efficiency and integration are something that you should often do together, because you're going to look at how do you reduce consumption on certain large pieces of equipment or certain components of your process line. But you can also, while looking at how do you reduce and optimize your energy consumption, how do you also then reintegrate that energy into another area of your operations? Or how do you capture it? So For example, in industrial operations, you might have a boiler with a flue stack. How do you capture that heat energy from the flue stack and then maybe use that heat to heat up water in your hot water boilers? So there's lots of ways to integrate energy back into the system. So that's why I would suggest that you both look at the energy efficiency as well as the opportunities for integration back into the operations as a collaborative effort. So step number 5 is to do with energy substitution. So renewables being probably the most common one to think of, solar, wind, hydro. And that's a really great way of substituting your fossil fuel energy into a cleaner energy source. But there are also other options, and these don't exactly fall into the energy integration piece because it's not about using your existing energy in whatever form and using it directly for another component or section of your operations. This part of energy substitution is actually using technologies that create energy from an existing waste output. So combined heat power, cogeneration and trigeneration, they use your existing operations to create new energy. Also biomass energy or waste to electricity conversions that uses a waste as a resource and converts it into electricity. So these don't fall under the energy integration piece, they actually fall under energy substitution because you are still creating that energy. And so energy substitution can include renewables as well as these conversion technologies that rely on some sort of waste or byproduct as a resource to create that energy. And so the final step is to offset your energy. And the reason why this step is last is because you really want to try and achieve the earlier steps in your energy hierarchy so that you're reducing your costs. You're actually creating a much more sustainable, secure operations by following those steps. Obviously, some may not be relevant to you, but the ones that are relevant, following them through and then finally resorting to energy offsetting, because technically, if you're offsetting your energy by purchasing credits or having an arrangement with another company that is, sitting at net positive or net zero consumption, you're not technically reducing your own emissions. You're just offsetting it through other avenues. So what we want to achieve, one, for the environment, but also to do this more economically, is to follow the steps of the energy hierarchy and then finally rest on the last step, which is energy offsetting. So in summary, the energy hierarchy is made up of 6 steps. We're looking at contracts, to reducing your energy consumption, to energy efficiency and energy integration. Number 5 is the energy substitution, and finally 6 is energy offsetting. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I've really enjoyed sharing this with you, and I look forward to our next video.